Hello again, and welcome back to another one. And today the Verzuz discussion continues, as one of the major hip-hop outlets in the world decided to draft a piece titled The Verzuz Rapper Power Rankings. And this is coming after Jay-Z said no one stands a chance against him. And this is as predictable as it gets when it comes to hip-hop outlets in general. They are biased, and spoiler alert, one rapper gets this treatment.
New York, New York.
And before we dive into the details, the reactions to this so far, and the debates, once again, we have a case of a major hip-hop outlet straight up spreading false narratives and making things out of thin air regarding Eminem. The proof is in the article, and we'll get to more on this real soon. But first, if you enjoy content like this, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and find me on social media at ETLifestyle_web. So this was the top 20, starting from 20 and working our way down to number 1. Jeezy, Nas, Dr. Dre, Nelly, Lil Kim, T.I., Rick Ross, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, Busta Rhymes, Missy Elliott, LL Cool J, Future, Nicki Minaj, 50 Cent, Snoop Dogg, Kanye West, Lil Wayne, Drake, and Jay-Z at number 1. So 12 rappers over Eminem, so essentially, this is entirely an opinion piece and based on nothing objective, which is fine, but that's the problem, as they started treading on fact territory in the article on some Rumpelstiltskin-ish. And this is what I have a problem with, as there's straight up false narratives in this passed on as factual, and it starts at the beginning. Eminem might just be the most difficult artist to rank on this entire list. He's one of the most commercially successful rappers of all time, and on paper, you could argue he would compete with any artist on this list. He's not one of the most commercially successful rappers of all time. Objective data is not debatable. He is the most successful rapper of all time across the globe. 1 + 1 is 2, nothing debatable about that, but it gets worse as once again facts were substituted for takes you see on Twitter. The question is, how would his catalog translate to a Verzuz match in 2022? If this battle was taking place during the height of his run, he might have been unbeatable. But public opinion has started to shift away from him in recent years, and some of his songs haven't aged well compared to his contemporaries. If you've been following this channel, you know that people say all kinds of nonsense online, but when it comes down to the data, which is actually what matters, Eminem's catalog has aged the best in hip-hop, like no one comes close from his era when it comes to music that's still relevant to this day. I mean, Curtain Call the Hits was one of the best-selling albums in 2021 in countries like the United States and United Kingdom, an album that dropped in 2005. But Complex chooses to ignore this data for the, in quotes, expert narratives from anime profile picture accounts on Twitter. This is supposed to be one of hip-hop's leading publications, and here's some new data this just in that proves my point on this aged badly debate. Just take a look what Eminem did to this list. Spotify top 2000 songs for January 5th. Without Me, The Real Slim Shady, Till I Collapse, Lose Yourself, Stan. Eminem literally occupied 5 spots in 10 for the most listened songs from the 2000s on January 5th. These are the songs that we are to believe supposedly aged badly compared to his contemporaries. But based on what exactly? Twitter? But there's more false narratives being peddled. Even if it didn't play any of his newer records, which have received lukewarm critical responses, it'd still have plenty to play from his legendary 99 to 2004 run alone. This is comical because first, what's critical reception got to do with a Verzuz based on hits, and 2, Eminem dropped Recovery, MMLP2 Revival, Kamikaze, and Music to be Murdered By over the last decade, and only one of those received lukewarm reception from critics, so it's still a wrong take, as the other albums received generally positive reviews from critics as seen on Metacritic, and extremely positive reviews from actual listeners, the same listeners who will be the audience in the Verzuz. But this is not surprising. Hip-hop media in general has a kink for misconstruing the facts when it comes to Eminem.
Up and under and through. Pull down.
We had plenty of proof of this recently when media journalists/hosts were outing themselves on Twitter. including when hip-hop outlets literally retconned an Eminem record to give to Kanye West, so nothing new here. And moving on to the reaction so far, some kept it short and simple, as popular reactions show. This list is so trash, laughing my bum off. More, Eminem at number 13 is wild disrespectful when he has multiple hits that have stood the test of time on and off the charts. They use top 10 hits as one of the metrics for the ranking, yet Eminem has 22 top 10 hits matching Jay-Z, who they put at number 1, but yet they listed M at 13. Funny enough, Verzuz is watched around the globe. Wonder how things will look when they take into account the charts around the globe. Just major markets is enough for Eminem to be number 1 with that metric, but in the United States by entries, Drake was far ahead of Jay, but Jay's still number 1, and it's laughable to have Kendrick over Eminem too. Even Kendrick will most likely be shook by that one. In a Verzuz battle based on hits where anyone in the world can tune in on the internet, some have expanded. Laughing my bum off, the highest selling and most popular rapper of all time is 13 on this list. Isn't Verzuz supposed to be a global event? If so, his African fans themselves will make Eminem win easily against any other rapper. Notice how, according to rap outlets, hip-hop is only universal when it's time to take your money. But when it comes to things like this, only New York and then the United States matters. Take note. And since this is actually about hits, this got more reactions like Eminem 13, rolling on the floor laughing emojis. His Hits album is the longest running rap album in Billboard history. The only rapper who has 7 albums charted 100 weeks. You're a joke. That's enough comedy for today. Save your thoughts for the comments. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.